All right, enough City. How about some quick hits instead?
Let's go, Gav.
Arsenal return from Brighton with 3 points, 7 clear. I guess that's all that matters, Jules, right?
Yeah, it was not pretty, certainly with the ball. But like we say all the time, and it's not for the first time, not just this season. Out of possession, there's just the best team in the world. There's no team better than them in terms of defensive structure, in the way they can press, in the way they can drop deeper, in the work ethic that they have, the organization, everything. They're so solid when they want to be. And even when Brighton had a lot of the ball and clearly more dynamic, better play, better football, everything you want, they actually didn't create that much, really, over the whole game. So not great with the ball from an Arsenal point of view, certainly in the last third of the pitch, attacking-wise. But everything else, I thought was really impressive, bar the Ryan mistake and the Gabriel clearance early. And they scored early, Saka, and they got lucky even with that goal, the deflection from Baleba. And after that, they closed the shop.
Yeah, I thought maybe Verbruggen could have done better, even with the deflection, because I thought the deflection took a lot out of him. And
yeah.
I don't know. I think we disagree on this one. I don't think they can play like this. As good as the defensive structure is, and I'd be slightly concerned because it's kind of what we've seen in the last 2 games. I think that shot against Chelsea as well. That shot from Saka that was deflected. That was their only shot until minute 52.
Yeah.
And look, I'm Italian. We made a whole culture out of being strong defensively. We won World Cups with it. But the problem is your margins become very, very slim when you don't do enough with the ball attacking-wise. I would have liked to see Havertz come on earlier, for example. I don't know. Maybe it'll change when Odegaard's fit again. I don't think Eze had the greatest game either. But the 3 points and the psychological boost is massive. And I kind of feel like it turns things around a little bit. And I'll be curious to see what they look like in the Champions League.
Chelsea go from a goal down to winning 4-1 away at Villa with a hat-trick from João Pedro.
Yeah, João Pedro's pretty good, isn't he?
Amazing.
Signed to play as an alternative 10, signed to play as an alternative 9. I spoke to somebody who said that, well, the plan longer term is going to be Palmer at 10 and Delap at 9. Well, we're seeing how that worked out. I thought Villa in some ways made things easier for them, in the sense that the way they exploited the high line. When you got Garnacho in there and you have that constant threat of pace, I do think if you're going to play with Palmer wide, it's critical that the guy on the other flank be somebody who's really, really fast, i.e. not Neto, not that Neto's slow, but Neto's not Garnacho with the ball or Esteval. And when they can do stuff like that, they're devastating. And I think it's a big, big boost for them. Now let's see if they can keep it up. Conversely, Jules, Villa, 1 win in 5 at home. They're slipping. They were battered. It felt like a battering. It felt like Chelsea could have scored many more than 4.
Yeah. It was, yeah. 1 win in 7 in all competitions. The collapse is brutal, really. But we said it before, it was not sustainable, the form that they had earlier in the season. They're lucky they got already those 51 points, to be fair. And now we have 4 teams within 3 points of each other, with a better goal difference for Chelsea, massively better than United in second, and then Liverpool and Villa. But obviously, as we've been saying, one of those 4 will miss out on Champions League football, which would be massive for them, whoever that is, for different reasons. But right now, your money has to be on Villa being that team because their form is so poor. And if you're Lille and you're playing them next week in the Europa League, I think you're quite happy about the way they performed again yesterday at home, because that was not good enough.
I do think we could be talking a different game if that, the Watkins goal, that was ruled for offside.
Maybe.
When they are fine margins, maybe Emery would have switched things around, but this squad looks really tired as well. Wolves somehow do not actually have a single attempt on goal until minute 78, when Rodrigo Gomez puts them ahead and they get a deflected winner in injury time later. The upshot here is that Liverpool lose 2-1.
Yeah.
It's the 5th time this season that Arne Slot's sides have conceded an injury time winner, and he's not happy.
No, he's not happy. This is the worst in Premier League history, I think. And the season is not even over. There's issues in this team massively. We've said that for a long time now, defensively, offensively. This was a really poor performance overall. I know VS wasn't there, and you see the lack of creativity when he's not there, but just nothing really worked.
Yeah.
And Salah scored. I thought he was really lucky to score and didn't do much else. But you know what I think right now about Mo Salah anyway.
Be nice. This is the start of his return.
I'm not a fan. I don't think it is at all. And defensively, again, they were all over the place. And yes, they've got injuries, but from Alisson to Van Dijk to Konate to Gomez, Jones, it's just not good enough.
You'd almost think that when you have two center backs who have to play just about every single game all the time, they might make mistakes later on. And look, they were unlucky. It was a ridiculously good finish I saw from Rodrigo Gomes after Van Dijk's mistake, and of course the other shot from Wolves was deflected. But it doesn't change the performance.
No, they were not good,
like you noted.
Absolutely.
Jacob Ramsey gets sent off after getting a second yellow for diving in the first half, but despite playing the rest of the game, a man down. Newcastle beat Manchester United 2-1. It's the first defeat of the Michael Carrick era.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was a harsh second yellow, by the way, for Jacob Ramsey, who I think lost his balance more than anything else, really, and shouldn't have been sent off. But after that, United should have played better and won. If Bruno Fernandes is not in this game, well, he just can't do everything. He can't just create and score and be at the start and at the end of the moves.
Work harder, Bruno. Work harder.
Outside of him, it was nothing. There was not good enough from Sisco, from Mbomo, from Cunha, from everybody else. Really amazing goal by Usula to finish, who, funnily enough, 10 years ago or so, got the best player award from a Manchester United soccer school, which is a great, full circle kind of story. I think he's got huge potential, still very raw, but that goal showed what he can achieve, I guess.
Yeah, it's funny how United struggle when they play when they have to play midweek games.
But
you can see that this team is not built for it.
Yeah, they haven't been good for the last 3 games either, so this is not either a massive surprise. Tottenham Hotspur host Crystal Palace on Thursday in the Premier League, but in the meantime, they've returned to the PGMOL and referees boss, our friend Howard Webb, to complain about refereeing consistency. They're still angry about that Raul Jimenez push on Radu Dragusin incident last weekend.
All right, so having been scarred by the Calciopoli scandal in my country, Italy, many years ago, I'm definitely in two minds about this. I don't think clubs should speak to the referees committee during the season. I think there's situations when you can do that. Howard Webb's not a moron. He knows what happened. He's assessed it.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll tell us later about this guy got it wrong, this guy got it right. When you come out, I'm in two minds about this, whether they should do it privately or publicly. Because when they do it publicly, it's going to put more pressure on whoever referees them next, right?
Yes, yeah.
Which is the idea behind it.
Yeah.
If they do it privately, it's behind closed doors. Do they know if Howard Webb's then going to send the message out? That's kind of what led to Calciopoli, incidentally. So I don't know. I don't think this is something that was necessary. I know there's obviously a channel, and I don't know if they made it public that they wrote to them or the PGMOL. Judging by, I could be totally wrong about this, but I will speculate. Judging by how everybody made it a point to say PGMOL was approached or declined to comment, I have a pretty clear idea about who sent this out. But anyway, I don't think this does anything. I don't think it's a useful thing. It's a useful thing to do, right? We know you're upset. We know you're annoyed.
Yeah.
Take it up in the summer. Rip Howard a new one in the summer. But to do this, it just puts more pressure on whoever officiates them next.
Harry Maguire has been found guilty on appeal of assaulting police officers while on vacation in Cyprus in 2020. Gab is getting a 15-month suspended sentence.
In 2020, that's 6 years ago. That's how quickly justice moves in
I've forgotten about this story. I thought he was in Greece anyway. I thought he was in Mykonos.
But he, maybe it was in Cyprus. Was
no, I'd forgotten completely.
Wherever it was, he went on vacation. There was an altercation, I think, involving his brother and some other people. His first cleared. Remember back then, this takes you back. Remember the whole thing about they wouldn't let him leave the country and stuff like that.
Vaguely,
Like 15 months suspended sentence. I'm happy the police officers should not be assaulted. So I'm happy they get justice.
Yeah.
From Maguire's point of view, it really makes no difference. It's a suspended sentence. Unless he plans on going back there and committing a crime, it's not going to affect him. Hopefully we can move on. But I just find it pretty remarkable. This has been hanging over him without a resolution for 6 years, because I don't know if he'd been found, if he'd been sentenced to a prison term. I don't even know if they could have extradited him. I don't know what the extradition rules are. Just know more lawyers would have made more money.
Media here in England are angry that FIFA's international break next season was moved and now falls during Easter, which means the traditional fixtures won't be played. They note the Premier League wasn't consulted.
All right. So I wouldn't have normally put the story in because the story's nonsense. But there's been, our producer, Freddie, insisted that he put it on his list of things. And I want to, in case you're influenced by some of the outlets who've put the story out there, let me give you the reality of the tale here. So first and foremost, the international calendar. It's not like FIFA decided to move the window now to interfere with Easter. But the reason this is relevant is traditionally there's extra holiday fixtures in the Premier League over Easter. So first and foremost, this calendar was made on March 14th, 2023. It was agreed upon, I think it was at the FIFA Congress in Rwanda, in Kigali, right? When the Football Association, which represents English football, was represented there. So what? After nearly 3 years, you're like, oh, look at next season's fixtures, right? So this had been decided.
Yeah.
And you know when Easter falls, right? The broadcasters, most importantly, already knew this because they bid for the rights. So they're not the ones who are raising a stink here. I don't know who's raising a stink. Second of all, it's not their job to consult the Premier League. The Premier League talks to the FA, and the FA represents the Premier League's interest.
Yeah.
Third of all, it's not all about you. There's 210 member nations in FIFA, and you have to go and balance everything out for everyone. And finally, they didn't move the international break. The international break is in March, the way it's always been in March, or it certainly has been for a very, very long time. Hey, look, it's in March against you. You know what moved? Easter moved. Because they use a calendar. So if you want to go and blame this on Christianity, blame this on God, right? Do whatever you like. But I'm very happy to blame FIFA for 99 billion different things. This is not one of them. Sorry if I got heated on this one, Jules. But come on, it bugs the crap out of me.
Yeah. Tottenham have banned 3 supporters who made Nazi salutes, Gab, when they faced Eintracht Frankfurt in the Champions League last month. And UEFA fined the club €30,000. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long they banned him for, who these people are. I think it's especially egregious in the case of Tottenham, given the club's historic links to the Jewish community in North London. Maybe they thought it was funny. Haha, we're in Germany. Look, they used to be Nazis. Let's make a Nazi salute. I don't know if that's what happened. I'm assuming it's more likely to be that than these guys are some kind of neo-Nazis.
Yeah.
Especially also because the Nazi salute is a crime in Germany. It's not covered by in the same ways having like a swastika. It's not covered by the same free speech laws or free expression laws that you may have in other countries. So these guys, I think, they risk prosecution here, frankly, as I understand it. You may ask, why have UEFA fined the club? Obviously, because clubs ultimately, under the legislation, are responsible for the behavior of their supporters, and this is also, I think, why Spurs may appeal it. But I think they'll want to show, look, we've identified these guys, we've banned them, they should not be associated with the club ever again. Burnley lose 2-0 at Everton, making it back-to-back wins for my boy Davy Moyes and dreams of European football for the blue half of Merseyside in their new ground. But Jules, I want to ask you about something else. So Burnley, like most clubs, they have an official social media account. This is specifically the X account we're talking about here. And they decided after the game, as many clubs do, they posted a clip of Scott Parker, the Burnley manager, talking after the game. And what's Scott Parker supposed to say that's particularly enlightening or whatever, right? So they do it. Obviously, a bunch of Burnley fans are angry with Parker. They blame him. They insult him, ask him to resign. But the club used a feature to go so that all those negative comments would not be visible.
Okay.
Not knowing, evidently, that there's a feature that allows you to unhide negative comments so other people can see them. So they end up embarrassed.
Yeah. I hadn't seen it. To be fair, I didn't
Wait,
know
you
there
don't
was.
follow Burnley's social media account on X?
Maybe I do. I not yesterday. I had other things to do than go on social media. To be fair, and I didn't know you could hide things and then unhide things and things like that. I guess maybe they wanted to. I don't know. This was a poor performance from Burnley after some better ones, even if they were not always paid with points. But I don't know, maybe they wanted to get people together, fans, manager, players, the whole team, squad. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's best after something like this, unless he comes up with some sort of rallying cry. Or you just face it. Scott Parker's a grown up. He knows that people are calling for his resignation. People are blaming him, rightly or wrongly, and he's just doing the best he can.